Is a truly momentous day because we are here for one of the great witnessings that mankind has knowledge of. Islam, about which you are here to welcome people into, is the heritage of this continent.
My name is Jahangir Harris. I am a resident of Cape Town. I was invited here by my Shaykh Abdalqadir, as-Sufi, and the Emir Hajj Orhan. Originally I'm from New York City, a place called Jamaica, Queens. The Shahada festival, my understanding of it is that the Shaykh Abdalqadir and Hajj Orhan, it was their initiative. Which was at the time, which was back in 2005. That's the first time I'd heard about it. Nobody's ever done anything similar to it. The work that we did on the Shahada Festival, the first one, second one, and third one, all of the groundwork was set for it by Shaykh Abdalqadir. When he came here in the 1980s, which back then it was not permissible for a white man to spend time with young black people to give them hope and educate them, and especially bringing them to the Deen of Islam. When all of these things, and the Sheikh was here, he was getting in the back of Bucky's and secretly going places with the guys and talking to them and teaching them. Imam Ibrahim told us a story about when the Sheikh would talk to them for hours. The Pretoria Shahada Festival came about with, once again, Hajj Orhan approached me and said to me, look, I'd like for you to lead a team of men in Pretoria to do another Shahada Festival. It just so happened that Abdul Fattah Mutaki was available, and he and myself, we traveled up to Johannesburg, and we stayed with Hajj Uthman Mashishimani, whose help for this festival was invaluable. We witnessed the marriage of his daughter, so that was actually quite an excellent event in and of itself, of giving dawah to the non-Muslims that came to the wedding. Not just by ourselves, obviously, but by the whole event itself. And then Sidi Yasser Bouli and Hajj Ahmed Hernandez, they traveled up. From that point, we moved to another Mashishimani, Hassan Mashishimani, in a different area, a place called Hammanskraal, where the new mosque is being built.
The basic structure of how it works. The first thing we do is get in touch with people who are Muslim in those areas, and we approach them, and we approach their immediate family and their neighbors, and we start arranging a series of meetings in the areas that we're targeting over the course of the 3 weeks that we are on the ground. In these meetings, it is mostly an introduction on the basics of Islam. We serve a meal. Oh. People have the opportunity of raising questions that they might have, through what they have heard or through what they have, encountered in Islam, and we've got the opportunity to reply to those questions and clarify, whatever doubts they may have.
The people who are on the ground, who've been around since the 80s, they are integral in the Shahada Festival. Without them, the beginning part doesn't happen, and without them, the follow-up doesn't happen. So they are the ones who give us shelter. They're the ones who give us nourishment. They're the ones who tell us where there's a potential person who's interested in Islam. They're the ones who introduce us to those people, whether they be family members, friends, acquaintances. They're the ones who make the thing possible. And then basically we act as a catalyst to bring all of these different orbits or spinning spheres together. We make it possible. What becomes difficult for the sedentary person, by bringing in a caravan of new energy, we make that thing possible, which is to gather people and to call them to Islam in one go. So it was the Shaykh's work here in the 80s, and the men that he touched and the men that became Muslim that made any of the things that we do now possible. So that became quite evident over the years.
It is hands-on, it is literally totally hands-on. I mean, for instance, the meal of the first Juma that we did in Soweto, we fed close to 100 people. Was, the night before, standing around in the kitchen while designing the flyers on the computer, chopping onions and making the food and unloading it in the car and taking it to Soweto, and, so it's the job, it's our task, and it's not, we serve the people. And that's where our secret lies, and that's where the barakah is. Soweto has been one of the main areas that we've targeted in this specific Shahada festival, and in fact is the most likely to be the only area which we tackle on the next one. Soweto has a population of 5 million people, which is incredible. I mean, that's half of London basically, in one township. It's huge.
Shaykh Ibrahim is a man of tremendous ability. We went to him looking for his assistance in Soweto, and at that moment I don't think he personally could, so he did the next best thing, which is he took us to people that he knew.
From there we met Maulana Abbas, who's also proved himself extremely helpful and who's introduced us to a good number of key people. We had a Juma in which Maulana Abbas gave the khutbah. I was so moved at seeing how well he had understood what we were doing and how dedicated he was. I mean, basically he stood on the minbar and he said it's our duty. He said we're responsible for this, and he basically just stood up and said, I want everybody that's here to bring 2 people to become Muslim with him.
And then from Maulana Abbas, he took us to Maulana Abu Bakr and another man named Maulana Nuruddin. And so these people have strongholds in a place called Pretoria South, and another one in a place called Rockville. And we made really good contacts with these people. They were bringing in a bus full of people now. Maulana Abu Bakr has at least 200 young students at the madrasa, which is the largest madrasa in Soweto. So the unique thing about that is that the students between the ages of 10 to 13, they're Muslim. They're learning about Islam and they're praying, they're doing these things, but the parents are not. So our goal is to give dawah to the parents so that the family is Muslim. But what I know of Mokhtar is that it's the man who's been in charge of giving dawah to the people there. His name is Sidi Ali Sapanda, and he's been very busy in that area. Right before we arrived, he had given 15 shahadas. But we went there and we had a braai. We met the man who's the anchor of Mokhtar. His name is Sidi Ibrahim, he's an older man, but he has a really large family. We went there, we met with them after they took the Shahada and ate with them. So it's a community that's expanding rapidly.
Look, Hamas Kraal is one of our strongholds. It's not a township, it's a rural area. There's a small Jamaat Khan at the moment where they do the Jumas and where they do this, but it's the road of expansion, we want more. We want it to be bigger, and it's for them. The social and the that aspect of the mosque is already there. At the moment, I mean, it's amazing. It's happening. It is there. There's every Juma. There's people there. There's social gatherings. There's a meal served after every Juma, and it's wonderful. But what is there in terms of infrastructure is not going to be able to accommodate the numbers that we're expecting. The event itself consists of recitation of Quran to start off.
ربكم
then it's an introduction on what Islam is.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Because what all of the people have come to here today to do is called Shahada in Arabic. The word is Shahada.
Witness.
And the word Shahada is often translated as testimony of faith. But here it is the witnessing, because we are all here to witness these people unlocking their potential as human beings, and Allah and His angels are also witnessing this great event. Here in South Africa, we are the present of this deen and we are the future of this deen.
Pretty much straight after that we start taking shahadas. So there's a line of 5 men sitting on the ground, and we line up all the people who want to take shahada on one side of the venue, and they start going one by one.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر. Coming good job, brother. Thank you to remember whatever the basics. Okay, I'll write your name.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. المؤمن. تكبير الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر تكبير.
La vie là-bas. Calme, tombez.
الله أكبر.
رمضان. ما شاء الله.
Give it to go in front of him and give it to him.
Yes, sir.
الله أكبر.
Waiting for a while already.
Assalamu alaikum.
After they take shahada, they get a Muslim name, and they get 2 books, a translation of the Quran in their language, as well as basics of Islam, foundations on Islam. So they can learn basics, how to do wudu, how to take wusul, how to pray, 5 prayers, and so on. After that, we do the prayer. We go down with them to the area which we have allocated to the prayer. We've got a series of guys, teaching them how to do wudu. And the correct adab of entering the mosque and so on. They join us in the prayer. So this is the first prayer as Muslims. We went back to the venue. We have a lunch all together, where we serve them, and they take part in a lunch with all of us, with our community, with us who are senior Muslims, if you can call it that. Dawah is part of the essence of the deen. Emir Orhan said something very interesting yesterday, in a sort of kind of talk, motivational talk that he gave us before the event. He said once you've got the knowledge once you know what your task is, it is not that you do it because you want to. It is that you do it because if you don't, you'll be answerable for it. Allah will question you on it, you know. And that is something which we have, and we're not the only ones who have it. You know, people have knowledge of this matter, you know. So that what is happening, and it's happening on a constant basis in all of these areas. What the Shahada Festival does is that it creates a platform and it creates a network for all of the people who are close, who have heard, who are interested, who are to come together on one day to take Shahada together and to realize that they're not a single individual. You know, there's a bigger picture to all of this. When you see close to 100 people becoming Muslim one after the other, what it does to us as Muslims is one thing, and what it does to them as people who have just entered Islam is another thing. You know, it's a huge thing. It's making them realize that they're part of an ummah, you know, and it's making them realize that they're part of a brotherhood.
The Shahada Festival, quite simply, is a celebration of the human being taking on his primal contract. So it's a celebration of that. And we do it so that the other Muslims can be aware of this, and so that the people who are coming to Islam can also start their Islamic career in the best possible way, and so that the greater community is aware that people are entering Allah's deen in droves, that this is possible.
Another clear indication of the barakah of this event and of the blessings of this event was the young man who took Shahada on the day of the event, and who was one of the caterers of the company that were serving the food on the day of the event. And he just simply saw what was going on. You know, he simply saw this group of people. He heard the recitation of the Quran. He saw what was happening, and he came and he said, "Look, I don't know what it is, but I want to be part of it. You know, I want to be one of you." And he took Shahada on the day. You know. And that is something that we can't take for granted. You know, that is a clear indication of the work that we're doing. You know, and of the blessing that it has, and on how it calls on the core of the human being. You know.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله تكبير تكبير أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة
Participez au festival annuel des Mokhtar Awards, le festival de cinéma qui vous donne une autre image de l'islam, très éloignée de celle que nous imposent certains médias. Cette année, le thème est le prophète Mohammed, alayhi salatu wassalam. Envoyez votre film avant le 15 décembre. Revivez les cérémonies précédentes comme si vous y étiez, ainsi que les remises des trophées sur le site mokhtarawards.com. Et pour apprendre à filmer, rejoignez la Mokhtar Academy, l'école d'audiovisuel en ligne du festival ouverte à tous et accessible de chez vous. Alors, tous à vos caméras, racontez vos histoires et faites parler vos cœurs.